This is Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined once again by my old friend, Robbie Davies Jr. Robbie, last time we spoke, you weren't in a great place, certainly regarding your boxing career. Things seem to have changed for the better since then. Just tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, things are picking up a little bit now. Started training down London with Shane McGuigan and his team, and things are moving forward. Things are looking a lot better now.
How did that come about? Who put you in contact with Shane, and what made him the right person to take you forward?
It was basically, when I done that post, and I was basically letting everyone know, listen, I'm out here on my own, sort of thing. A lot of people reached out to me, do you know what I mean? Like, a lot, do you know what I mean? Like, especially in terms of, like, wanting to sign me, wanting to work with me, wanting to train with me. But then also a lot of people just who have had absolutely nothing to do with me at all also reached out to me, like boxers, former fighters, former world champions, other people's managers, and everyone was just like trying to help me. You know, like, I was like, sometimes this boxing world can be a nasty place, but sometimes the boxing community is a good place to be, especially when you're in a bit of a rut. Everyone's been there at some point, I imagine. So everyone was looking out for me, and then someone that I knew through a marketing team knew someone in Shane's camp, and I think he like threw the feather in for me just to see like what the feelers would be, because I was one of them. Like, I didn't have the arse to go to trainers myself and like say, would you be interested in fighting, training me, sort of thing. Like, I just haven't got it in me. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I could have took someone going like, nah, I don't want to. Do you know what I mean?
You're all right.
Yeah, I'd have been even more gutted then. But then, like, Shane dropped me a message and said, like, if you'd ever fancy popping up for a bit of training, see what you think of it. So I just started going up there and just like with no pressure on me or at all, just like going off my own back, coming home when I wanted, stuff like that. Wasn't in like any sort of camp. I was just training, and then I just started enjoying it. Then really started getting on with Shane away from the ring as well, like just because like he's similar age to me. Do you know what I mean? So when we're not in the boxing gym, we got on pretty well as well. So then I like had the best of both worlds, like where I could train hard, I could mix in with all the lads, I could get the graph going, and then when the training finishes, I wasn't like just stuck in London on my own. Do you know what I mean? I had people around me and stuff like that. Obviously, it's not ideal with the missus and the baby at home, but while you're away from home, you need to feel like you're enjoying it at some point. Do you know what I mean? And like that's what it is for me anyway. And I've really been enjoying it while I'm up there. And when I've been training, I actually feel like I'm learning again, because there's so many things that I've been doing in the past where he's like, why'd you do this and why'd you do that and do this and do that? And I was like, what? It's like being back in the amateur club. This, do you know what I mean? Straightening things back up, but hopefully it's beneficial in the long run.
How are you making it work at the moment in terms of, obviously you've got your family back home? Are you staying in an apartment and doing the week and then going back at weekends, or are you traveling every day?
No, no, I'm not traveling every day this time. It's well too far. It's I just I get a train up there at the beginning of the week, stay up there, and then I come home like either Thursday night or Friday morning. So still getting the full weekend basically, and then hopefully like get a fight. Like it says I'm on this October 9th, Bill. Like if you look on Box Record or anything like that, it says I'm on the cards. Do you know what I mean? But just a few things, like we had an opponent and then we didn't have an opponent, and it was a top fight what everyone would have been interested in, but for whatever reason they didn't want it on their end. Like, I'm not saying he doesn't want to fight me or what, but don't know if it's because it was in Liverpool or it could be a million reasons. I'm just thinking out loud, do you know what I mean? But for whatever reason it's not happening now. And then Eddie's filled the card with like quite a few other good fights now, so it's like looking where's it going to fit me if I was to get a decent contest, do you know what I mean? So I don't know if they're looking at just getting me a run out or what, where before the end of the year I want a proper fight, do you know what I mean? And I've got enough people calling me out all the time, so I know there's fights there for me if need be, but I'd rather it be on this Liverpool show, do you know what I mean?
What's Shane been feeding back to you in terms of how he sees you at this stage of your career, how far he thinks you can go?
Shane's been very complimentary, especially when I come into the gym and I was already in good shape, I was already fit. And then he's seen me in some good sparring sessions with some top kids. And I think that enlightens him a bit of like what I've still got left. Do you know what I mean? Like, and he can see that last fight was just a bit of a disaster. Do you know what I mean? And he basically he's filled me with confidence in terms of how far I can go and things like that. And he doesn't feel like I'm old in terms of my age, and he doesn't feel like I'm battle worn in any way. Do you know what I mean? So now I've just got to basically get on the job, get listening, and don't want to give too much away. I don't want to change things in case anyone's listening, but
yeah.
I can't keep having these barnstormers every time I fight. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know that myself personally, especially in future for my own life. Do you know what I mean? So I definitely be thinking of like if you look at his fighters, a lot of them are boxers. Do you know what I mean? Moving, bringing people onto shots and things like that. And ever since I've been there now, he's got me moving my feet again. I'm not just storming him, I'm not getting squared on, things like that. Like I was saying before, it's like being back in your amateur club where he's correcting everything I'm doing. But even just from like the first time I walked into the gym to now, like I'm just like naturally not doing it anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't think it'll be. So I was just thinking like it might not be as exciting for everyone else, but it'll definitely be winning me more contests, and I'll definitely come out with no marks on my face as well.
Well, that's the important thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is Shane managing you as well, or are you managing yourself now? I know because that was a voyage you had as well.
No way. See, at the moment, like we haven't really. I had like other options for management and things like that, but with Shane, like he preferably, because he's working with me and he's hands on with me pretty much as well. Like he'll do it himself. Do you know what I mean? And obviously he can run everything by me and things like that. So I was happy with that. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not like I've got to go back and forth between training and managing and myself. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm up in London, I'm with Shane 24/7. So if something comes up, we can bounce off me with it. If he thinks it's right, if he thinks it's not right, it'd be better coming from him because he's actually in the gym with me, seeing everything eye to eye. It's not like a manager picking your fights off BoxRec. Do you know what I mean? Like he actually knows what's going on. Do you know what I mean?
Who have you been doing the majority of your sparring with while you've been there? And just one other thing as well. When you first started working with Shane, were they still in Kent or were they at the gym they're at now?
No, they were in Kent at first. I've been going up there quite a while. I just didn't say nothing for ages. Do you know what I mean? So I was in Kent for quite a bit. But they've had loads of sparring in, they've had like people come, they've had Kazakhstans coming in, they've had top Irish fighters coming in. There's that many, like there's that much variety of different boxers in London. Like they just bring them in. Like you'll be sparring Tuesday, you'll be sparring Thursday. A lot of them are a little bit bigger than me, but I don't mind that. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I'm literally just like I've had more variety of sparring in this gym than I've had in any other gym. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like there's a bigger pool of different levels of opposition and weights and things like that, especially in London, especially around the area they were in Kent. And this one, it seems to be similar again. Like there's always loads of sparring with different lads and things like that.
Is it nice having another Scouser in the camp in Anthony Fowler?
Yeah, it's all right. Like a few of the lads sometimes, like when all the gym are laughing and things like that, when me and Anthony start laughing with each other, it's like they all miss what's going on because when we're talking to each other, we talk a lot faster and only me and him get what we're on about. They're all like, what? So it is good, like, yeah.
Now, obviously, you're looking at the world scene or the European scene, but there is a British title fight at your weight taking place at the weekend. So I wanted to get your take on that, if that's okay. Akeem Ennis-Brown defending against Sam Maxwell. What do you make of that fight?
Do you know what? In the past, like Sam's called me out and things like that, but it's not bad blood. Do you know what I mean? Like he messaged me before this fight asking me for sparring, but I was still sorting things behind the scene where I was going to train and things like that with Shane. So I said to him, listen, I'd rather you with, do you know what I mean? Which I would. I'd rather Sam with 1,000,000%. Like I can't really take to that Akeem Brown. Do you know what I mean? He seems like a bit of a nasty piece of work. Do you know what I mean? And I just couldn't help him because he was training in Manchester and I was training in London. I was trying to sort my own stuff and things like that, or I would have helped him out. Do you know what I mean? I think it's do you know what I thought? Because I know Akeem Brown's very, very slim fighter. I thought he was going to be like so much taller. I imagined him to be like 6 foot, but then when I seen him, he's smaller than Sam as well. So like, I think if Sam makes the weight right and he hydrates well, like, and he doesn't feel tired at any point in the fight, I think Sam will knock him out. Do you know what I mean? Just because they're both good fighters, but Sam just looked double the size of him in height and build. And it's not like Sam's just going in there and he's just big. He can box as well. Do you know what I mean? Where Akeem, I think for him to win, he's going to have to make it messy. He's going to have to like spoil. He's going to have to like just hit and move, throw punches in bunches, but like not very hard, just like pitter patter, get in, get out. So I think by like 4 rounds in, you'll know what way the fight's gonna go. That's my personal opinion. Do you know what I mean? You'll see if Akeem Brown gets into a bit of a rhythm and he's just bopping and moving and running all over the place, it could go his way. But if Sam stamps his authority early in the fight, lets him know that like this tippy tappy stuff's not going to work against me, starts working well behind his jab, and eventually lands a few solid right hands, I think Sam might stop him.
And before I let you go, last time we spoke, as I was saying before, things were all going bad for you at the time. You weren't particularly happy, understandably. So you seem in a much better place now, like emotionally. Is that fair to say? Yeah,
do you know what? Like I don't know. I can't even remember who I was on an interview with earlier in the week, and they were saying like the same thing. And I said like, I think the last time people were speaking to me, even though I was still speaking openly and things like that, it was like I was still hurting. Do you know what I mean? Like I was still feeling it a bit. Do you know what I mean? Like I felt like I've been let down by people, and like emotionally. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm like where some people think like I'm a bit of a strong character. Sometimes when you think you know someone, do you know, like one of them things, and it's not going the way you thought it was going to go. You've had setbacks. It felt like everything was coming on top of me. Do you know what I mean? I was literally at a point like thinking, what would I do over them if I didn't box anymore? Do you know what I mean? Where now I'm like, I'm like, now the pressure's off me. Do you know what I mean? I'm literally just doing it for enjoyment now. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like it's going to be the best best chapter I've got left.
Well, it's great to hear, mate. I'm really, really happy for you. And hopefully you do get out on that October 9th card, because I think everyone would like to see you back.
Yeah, do you know what? It says I'm definitely on it, but me preferably, I'd like to be in like one of the better fights. Do you know what I mean? I'd like to be in a good end on the card, so I'd be looking for a good fight. But the fight that I had in line, that might come round again on a different show. I don't know, but for whatever reason, it won't happen. But there's plenty of other fights out there that could be made for this show. Like it doesn't even have to be domestically, but if you look at like the top 40 box rec, things like that, there's loads of them that still need fights. Do you know what I mean? And with 6-7 weeks still out, the fights can surely be made. Do you know what I mean? Especially in a sold out arena.
Good stuff. Well, yeah, we'll look ahead to that with interest, and hopefully you'll get an opponent soon.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Cheers, mate. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll speak again soon.